As I'm reviewing some end of the year numbers with some clients and their practices, as far as production for the year, new patient numbers for the year, I realized that this one thing that I'm about to discuss is something that a lot of practices don't look at when they're tracking their marketing and their practice growth. And what I'm here today to tell you is you do not want to make this one huge marketing mistake when tracking the growth of your practice. This is episode 78 of the Dental Practice Launch podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 78 of the Dental Practice Launch podcast. I am your host, Shane Simmons. I'm the founder of Crimson Media Dental Marketing, where we help dental practices grow through proven online relationship-based marketing. And I'm going to get right into it. This is going to be a short but impactful episode. So it's end of the year as I'm recording this. We're in December. And during this time, practices, as well as Crimson Media, our marketing company, we're looking at just kind of like the total patient, growth in a practice, production growth, collection growth, just looking at the numbers and comparing it throughout the year. And certainly, comparing it to last year if the practice was open last year. And as I was, meeting with a client, we were discussing, they had an awesome year. So this practice had a record year. Actually, in fact, by the end of November, they'd already had a record year and they still have all of December to go. And so we were celebrating that, of course. And one of the things, though, that we realized with the tracking that we're able to do with this practice is over the 11-month period. So this was January 2025 through November 2025. So not counting December at all. The practice had produced $129,533 in just new patient production. And what we're defining new patient production is a new patient appointment that came in and had work done, in that first initial appointment. So this practice is really good about doing a lot of same-day treatment. It's also one way that they can kind of offset their hygiene schedule from getting backed up, because they are one of those practices that are booked out weeks on the hygiene side, which is great. But, if a new patient comes in, they don't have that relationship already built with you, that can be frustrating for some people. So the fact that they're able to do a lot of same day, production or treatment has been great. But I just want to, highlight this for a second. $129,533 new patient production. Now, if we were looking at this short-sighted, like I see a lot of practice owners do, and I see, and over the years of doing this, then we could say, okay, well, whatever we spent in marketing, let's compare that to what we produced, which is $129,000, some odd dollars. And if you looked at it that way, you in this case would see it was a great ROI, right? And that's awesome. But that's really short-sighted, and that's not the way that you want to really look at the data for long-term sustainable growth for your practice. So let's take it a step further. And this is what I encourage all of you to do. Not just look at, the new patient production from a particular referral source. So this particular referral source was just through marketing channels, right? Marketing that we're handling, not including referrals internally or anything like that. So that $129,000 just came from the new patient appointments, right? And the same day treatment if that happened. But if we look at those same patients over the course of the year, so many of them, if they came in February and came back, 6 months later, had a hygiene appointment, maybe they had to get, a filling, crown done, whatever. We need to be tracking all of that future production, tying it back to that original referral source. So if we look at it that way, just from January to November, that the patients that resulted in $129,533 in production, actually over the entire 11-month period with return appointments resulted in $175,897. That gives us a much more accurate number, because now when we're going through and we're looking at how much did we spend, at marketing dollars, how many patients, new patients came, specifically from, marketing, but in general, just how many new patients, came in general, we can then tie that back to how much did the average patient spend in our practice over, in this case, it was an 11-month period. Certainly we'll look at the 12-month on that as well once the December numbers come in. But this is just something I wanted to record really quickly because it's a very simple thing, but just don't get hung up on that first initial new patient appointment, especially if, you're not able to do a lot of same day dentistry and you're just basing it off of hygiene. Like, you're probably not going to make, much production off of just hygiene patients that come in. But what you need to track is how many of those patients come back, right? How many of those patients get treatment 12 months, 24, 36 months? How many, we didn't even talk about how many patients do those patients refer? So the numbers we're looking at here, not even counting referrals that came from these patients who found them through marketing, which they did have referrals as well. So my point is you can really dive deep into these numbers, but if you really want to, without getting too into the weeds, just remember to look at your average patient production over a 12-month period, not just the new patient appointments numbers. And then ultimately you're looking at how many of those new patients end up, returning back for hygiene and are going to become long-term patients in the practice. And that is how you look at the full picture for your marketing to make smarter, more data-informed marketing decisions. Because what you don't want to do is cut a marketing channel off that's actually working, but has maybe a delayed impact when it comes to the actual production in the practice. So I hope this was helpful. If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. Greatly appreciate that. And of course, as always, if you know someone or if it's you that's looking to grow your dental practice, whether it's a startup or acquisition, or maybe you're an established practice owner, be sure to reach out to us at crimsonmediagroup.com, and we'd love to talk with you and tell you a little bit about what we do and how we track it, just like this. So without further ado, I'm going to wrap it up on this episode, but we have a really good one coming out the following week. So be on the lookout for episode 79 here soon. But have a great day, everybody. And thank you for your time and listening to the Dental Practice Launch podcast.